Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm Beth Roy, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today, for our coffee and a card, we're going to focus on graduation. So if you pop in, say hello, please. And if you're watching the replay, let me know where you're watching from. So I'm just pulling up my video here. So good morning, good morning. I have been asking all week about graduation cards and what stamp sets you like. And I am going to want to know, what colors do you use? I typically use school colors, depending on who I'm giving it to. So we're going to have a little fun today and see what we can come up with. Good morning, Jenny. Okay. So, fingers crossed my internet holds out. Am I live in the right place here? I don't see my video. There we go. Facebook is changing where things are again. So, you know, it's always a fun challenge every day. So, I am curious to know, I feel like I have older kids and of course younger kids and or a younger child. And so I have a child that's, or he's not a child, he's a man, already graduated. And I have one graduating next year, and then I have one that's a long ways away. So I'm curious, what do you give graduation cards for? Someone mentioned on the post 8th grade graduation, and I didn't think of that, but it is a different change when you go from 8th grade to that high school level. And I know my son's graduating from kindergarten, so that's always fun. And then you have high school and you have college, and my son's graduating from a trade school as well. So you have all these different graduations, and I'm really curious to see what others use for graduation cards, because I always use mountains and I use the sailboats. Those are some of my favorite things. Sometimes it's flowers. I don't necessarily just do like the grad cap. I have done that before. But I'm curious to see what everyone else kind of does, whether you're making some this year or you've made them in the past. Good morning, Linda. I'm glad to see you made it. And I also want to say, before I point down and we get started, Tracy messaged me and said that she was going to be out of comms this week because she's vacationing somewhere where there's no internet. Who ever heard of such a thing? But we want to say, Tracy, we miss you. So I hope that all is going well, and she'll watch the replay when she comes back. So I do enjoy my time with you all on Saturday mornings. So thank you for coming and hanging out with me in my craft studio, even though half the time it's a wreck back here. I clean this area in front of me so that we can have a little bit of peace when we're creating, if that's possible. If you saw my post from yesterday, my mind is usually like this the whole time I'm creating and thinking, and I literally walk around my room and sometimes forget what I'm doing because I have serious adult ADD when it comes to crafting and staying on track. So let's go ahead and point down. I actually made a mini slimline card for today, and so I think we're going to do that, and I'm going to show you some other ones that I made as well. So let's do some housekeeping here. There we go. Let's see how straight I got us. Oh, not too bad this morning. I know, Jenny. I don't know what I would do without internet, though. I mean, let's be honest. So this is the card I created, and I'm going to show you the stamp that I used to create this very soft background. And then you can open it up, and I use the little sailboat. This is seriously one of my favorite sets right now. And I love phrases like adventure awaits, or this is the let's set sail, and let your dreams set sail, and hope it's your best day ever. I just like the font and the greetings in this. And we've had the lighthouse. We had a lighthouse set many years ago that had beautiful sayings in it. So I really like those types of sayings. Good morning, Susan. Thanks for joining us. So I do have a few grad cards that I need this year. And because I have several children, I feel like every year I have someone that's graduating. So whether it's from my church family, which a lot of those children, that especially that are around my kids' ages, they become my kids too. And we're pretty close. We, I just asked Jenny yesterday, I said, who do we have graduating this year? Because I feel like I don't even know what's going on. I feel lost. But we definitely, I feel like I definitely have at least a few kids every year. So graduation cards are a big thing for me right now. So I'm curious, what are some of your favorite sets? So I did ask the question, if you're making graduation cards this year. I've asked some of you what you're using. And I'm just curious. I've seen a few graduate cards online, and I don't have a cap and gown or the cap or some things that other people have. So I've always used things I love, and I love the Mountain Air set. I just think when you're coming into adulthood, it is an adventure. It might not be always an exciting one, like paying bills, as my adult son is finding out. But it is an adventure. You are really going to learn a lot about yourself when you step away from your parents and go off onto your own, on your own, and start chasing your interests and things you think you want to do. Thank you, Linda. I love this. So this saying, which thanks to Jenny, yesterday we had a little collab sesh, and she made 1,000,000 cards and I made one. But I forgot about this Slimline Sayings set, which is in the January to June mini. And this has this greeting right here. And I love it because it's big. So even if I put this on a regular sized card, it would fill up the space and work. You could also stamp, you are one of a kind. You really are fabulous. Happy for you even would work for graduation. So I like to kind of stretch my stamps. You don't always have to put grad on there or even congratulations. You can use other things. Like I said, my favorite thing is adventure awaits. I love that saying because I think it just encompasses a whole new phase of life. So everyone who's in here, and if you haven't said good morning, please say good morning, because I want to say hi to you, even if you don't want to give me a color or something like that, because we're going to have to pick colors in a minute. I still would like to know who's in here with me, who's joining me today. So I made a few other cards. I didn't get my mountain card made because, well, yesterday, our pool's open and we have swam 3 days in a row. And my son doesn't like to get out of the pool. So I didn't make it back in here last night, and that's okay. So we're going to do a slim line today. So that's something to think about. But here's one that I did. And you saw this one that I posted. So I used the same layout, essentially. And I used the Hello Ladybug. And this one says, may your greatest wish come true. Now, I think it's supposed to be a birthday card. But who says it can't go on a grad card? I mean, there aren't any rules here. You can stamp the outside whatever you want. Good morning, Dad. Good morning, Jan. Thanks for joining us. So I love this layout, and I'm going to show you another one that I made. This is the one I completed when Jenny and I were collabing. The only one I completed. But I loved this, and I don't know where I came up with this. I don't know if I saw someone else. I don't know where it came from. It's been in my head, and I really wanted to make this card. So the inside just has let your dreams set sail. And like I said, I do need a few cards for graduation this year. And it could also be maybe someone starting a new job. It doesn't have to be graduation that these sayings could go for. Maybe they're starting a new job and you want to give them a card. So this is going to be a new card class. And the kits are going to be all very similar. And then you're going to really design it up. And it's the Let's Set Sail is going to be my next class. So look for that later today because it's going to drop and you can sign up for it. So here's the card I made yesterday. And we looked up a school that I need to make a grad card for. So I picked the school colors, which were like a gold and a navy. And so I used Night of Navy and Crushed Curry. And you can see my stamp pads are very well inked. But we had some fun with this. And so instead of a circle, I used a square. These are the new stylish. Let me make sure I tell you the right name, because I love these. And you're going to want to buy these. I'm just telling you now, you want them. Go ahead and put them on your list. Put them in your cart because you're going to want them. So they are stitched circles and stitched squares, and then these stitched banners. And they're called Stylish Shapes Dies. And this is fun because they are stitched on the circle that die cuts. And let me get my paper I threw away. They're also stitched, hopefully you can see it. They're stitched on the negative. So if you wanted to make a picture frame and then have something in here, this is stitched. So it has a negative and a positive stitching, if that makes sense. Hopefully you could see it. Good morning, Joan from Washington State. So happy you could join us this morning. So I love these. Just so you know, if you can be in love with products, I am. So you're going to make sure you get those because you're going to want to use them. But these will be the kits. And all those details will be later. But today we're going to make a grad card. So those are some cards I made. I also pulled out. So if you wanted a regular size card, I didn't finish the inside on this one yet. Or this one. But you could add a pocket here. I've shown that on several videos where it's just a piece of paper and you just tack down 3 sides of it and then you can slip your gift card in. Something I did, and I didn't show a picture of this, but when I made my teacher's gifts and they were the pocket cards where the note card slides out, I flipped my note card over. And when you pull your gift card off of that paper that it comes on, it usually has like a glue dot kind of adhesive on the back. And mine stayed on the card, so I just used that to stick it to the back of my card, so of my pull-out note card. So I thought that is excellent. You could just open this and stick your gift card right in there, or you can create the pocket. So those are a couple I did. I love sailboats. I don't know why, but I don't own a sailboat, but I do like them. So we are going to choose a few things here. Let me move some things out of the way so I'm not putting them everywhere. So I just think there's lots of sets that have fun sayings. Obviously, this is the one I used. And to make this fun pattern, I used this water pattern from the sailboat set. So, and Jenny mentioned yesterday that this looks like kind of like a road too. So we were coming up with all kinds of funny things that we could do with that. But I love this. I love the pattern that it leaves. So Art Gallery has a congratulations. So if you like flowers, you could layer some flowers and put congrats. What else? Hand Pen has a congratulations. So I usually put congratulations on my graduation cards. But you can, like I said, you can use whatever phrase you want. Now, something Jenny pointed out yesterday, and is kind of funny, is I don't remember her exact phrase. So, Jenny, if you are still on here, and you can recall what you said, but we were laughing because this stamp set, Nothing's Better Than, has this phrase in it, because adulting is hard. And so that's a little... humor for the graduates might not find that funny, but I certainly do. I have Mountain Air here because this is one of my favorite sets, so we could use that. Peaceful Moments has a nice congratulations in it. The new Happiness Abounds has a very long, skinny congratulations. And then I picked a couple of stamp sets that have large texture stamps, so that if you're doing a texture on the front of your card and you don't want to use sailboats, you can pick another texture like one of these to stamp on the front, and then in a light color, and then stamp your words over top. And this also has a good luck in it. So those are some different things. So what do you guys think? We're going to make the mini slimline. And we can do the outside like this, very simple, and put something on the inside. Or we can stamp the outside with the image and then do this texture and the saying on the inside. So we've got some choices today. What do you guys think? Yeah, eat chocolate because adulting is hard. Yeah, something like that. And it's true. I mean, we can't tell them to, we were laughing because we have the Brewed For You set, and I said, we can't tell them to drink beer or anything like that. Well, maybe if they're graduating from college, but by then they've already learned all about adulting probably. And my little, he graduates here, let's see, in about, I don't know, not quite 2 weeks. So I'm trying to think if I'm going to do a mountain card. He likes to keep all the little cards that I make him. And so I want to make him something, and I'm just not sure yet. Maybe a sailboat card. He always likes to come in and give me his opinions on my cards. Yeah, true, Jenny. We definitely do. Good morning, Shirley. Thanks for joining us. So let's get busy. We have a slimline, or a mini slimline. So this is 6 1/2, and it's by 7, and it's scored at 3 1/2. I like this size because you can definitely fit your gift card in there and still have room to write a little message or stamp something. So I'm just using basic white. And then I have a layer here for the inside that is 6 1/4 by 3 1/4. And we're going to stamp that for the inside. I like to add a layer in here. Good morning, Vicki. We are thinking of you. I'm sorry you can't stay, but you're in our thoughts, Vicki, and our prayers. And then I have a basic white piece that is 6 by 3. So this, this layer that we're going to choose here after we pick our colors, it is 6 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then your stamping layer is 6 by 3. Ooh, that's a good idea, Joan. Using the numbers, and I do have the old number dies. So even though we're using stuff today, and some of it's, well, all of it is current, all my stamps are, feel free to dig into your stash and get out things that work. I have tons of retired congratulations, and I do actually have, we had a grad set, or congratulations, where it stamped all different colors, like it layered. It might even be in my retired to sell, because I've been sorting. Lots of things are for sale in my craft room. So if you have those number dies, you definitely could grab those out and use those. That is a great idea. And it's very simple. So you could stamp, you know, a texture on there. And we do have background stamps that you could stamp. We have one, I think it's called Dry Brush, and it looks like you took a paintbrush and just swiped it back and forth. We have stone. We have, I think, a tie-dye. I don't even know what all about. We have tons of backgrounds. So you could stamp this with whatever texture you want. I just like the sailboat texture. I love the look of it. And then you could just cut out the 2022 and glue that on the front, and then put congrats to the grad on the inside. Super simple, but effective. So, okay. I was trying to think of some colors of schools near me. That way, if I don't need the graduation card, one of my friends might need it. And I can pass it on to them. So we have blue and red, which is like the brighter colors. That was my son's. We have red and black. We have, I think, orange and black. So someone throw out a couple colors. We want 2 colors, at least 2 colors. We have purple and gold. I do a lot in that because my friend she uses a lot of cards that she gives to students at that school. And so I do a lot in the purple and gold. And that I usually use Gorgeous Grape. It's not a dark purple. And then you can use Crushed Curry, or I used, oh, what am I thinking? Well, I used to use Bumblebee, but that color is retired. If you still have Bumblebee, you could easily use that color, and I do. That was one of my favorites. Okay, Joan, so yours are purple and gold too. Is it a dark purple, or is it more like the Gorgeous Grape purple? Like a brighter purple? Because we do have lots of purples. So, everyone good for purple? Let's do a purple and gold. Now this one I did, this is Tahitian Tide and Night of Navy. So we might not want to use those, I mean, you could use those colors with the sailboat. It would definitely work. But we might want to bring in, or use gray, because our school, they use gray or white, along with the purple and gold. That was my school too. So we need to think about how we want to stamp this, but we could use a different texture. So what do you guys think? Do you want to use, the sailboat, or do you want to try something else? So we can use this Congrats to the Grad, and we could even use, this texture instead of the sailboat texture. I'm gonna grab some purple paper. Hopefully I have some. I don't always have these colors. Okay, Linda votes for different. Okay. So I want to show you, I grabbed, this is Gorgeous Grape. Now, this is Daffodil Delight. And this is actually probably the colors, even though they call it purple and gold. It's really purple and yellow. But this is the Bumblebee. And so when I make cards for my friends, this is the two colors I used. Now, Bumblebee is retired. I have plenty. And this is Crushed Curry. Mine's not open yet. So I'm going to open this really quick so I can pull a sheet out and you can see the difference. So I want to get it close, but I'm not going to worry about if it's exact. And surely they're not going to judge me. I'm giving them a card with a gift card in it, so, or money. I give cash too, so. So here's Crushed Curry. So you can see Crushed Curry and the Bumblebee were very close in color. This is a little bit more darker. So we can use Crushed Curry. Jenny, are you still on here? What do you think? Crushed Curry and Gorgeous Grape? Hopefully everyone can see the colors well on my, I do have my extra light on. So let me scoot a few things out of the way. So I guess the question is, and we can stamp and test it out. Thank you all for the thumbs up. We can test out this. This is definitely going to stamp darker. And I forget what, I mean, this was kind of a fall stamp set, but that's okay. We want this a texture. And then this one's going to stamp like that alcohol effect technique. Thank you, Jenny. Jenny's familiar with this school too. So those are my two colors. And we don't have to use both cardstocks. On this one, I used the lighter cardstock, which was Tahitian Tide, and I used the Night of Navy for my words. So if you were making a set, like the year my son graduated, he had a friend group of over 20 people. And so I gave them all gifts and then their girlfriends as well, because he graduated in 2020 and we didn't have graduation. And so we had a drive-through thing. And so I ended up, I can't tell you how many cards I made. Not all of them had girlfriends, but I probably gave 30 cards that year, at least. So you could alternate if you needed more than one. You could do some, and they were going to the same school. You could do some in the purple and some in the Crushed Curry. So, and I've got my trimmer here so we can cut it. And then once we kind of decide that, we'll pick a texture. So on this one, I used the Tahitian Tide paper and I stamped off with the Tahitian Tide to create a really faint background. So that's what we're going to stamp on this layer. So I'm going to move my inside layer for just a second. We don't know what we want on there. We could stamp mountains or whatever on the outside, but I like just the simple card. I don't know how many kids actually pay attention to the cards I give them, but I like to keep it simple. So here's our card base. So then it would either be Crushed Curry, and then we would stamp our words in Gorgeous Grape. And I may even pull out my Stamparatus so that if it doesn't show up well, I can re-ink it and keep stamping it and make it darker. Or if you don't like that much gold or Crushed Curry color, you could do Gorgeous Grape. And then we could stamp that texture in the Crushed Curry, and I would stamp off first because I want it to be really light and faint. And then we could stamp in the Gorgeous Grape over top. So choice one Crushed Curry Matte, Choice 2 Gorgeous Grape. I have 2 for Gorgeous Grape. Okay, so we're going to cut the Gorgeous Grape. Move this off to the side for a second so I can bring in my trimmer. Move these for a second. I'm not even going to tell you how many stamp sets I have piled up next to me because it is ridiculous. Okay, so our layer needs to be 6 1/4 by 3 1/4. And if you have the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, I'm going to give you a quick tip here. Here's a quick tip. When you take the arm out, you'll notice that 6 1/4 is somewhere in here. So what I did is I took my bright teal Sharpie, excuse me, and I marked the 6 1/4, which is kind of hard to see. It's right where the arm folds out. So, excuse me, I think I need a little bit more coffee. I'm going to cut this at 6 1/4. And then 3 1/4. And look, I have enough to make another base if I need it. If I need to make more than one card, I would just go ahead and, excuse me, I would just go ahead and cut those. Sorry about that. Got a little something in my throat. Yes, Jenny, it's more than yesterday. I think I pulled everything off my shelf just to see what said congratulations and what other phrases we could use. Now, last week we used the Color and Contour, and it has You Are Amazing. We have another stamp set that has You Inspire Me in it. So don't limit yourself on the outside of your card. You can use whatever phrases you want, and it should be an uplifting card in addition to a congratulations, because you know you want to put something in there that what do I want to say here? I don't know. It doesn't have to just say congratulations. You want something uplifting. So you can tell them they're amazing. You can tell them, you know, go for your dreams, all those types of phrases. So you are awesome. Of course, everybody wants to hear they're awesome. The other one is you really are fabulous. And then you can say congrats and, you know, best wishes for whatever their plans are for after school. Okay, so there we have that. Now we have to pick a texture. So these are the 2 that I pulled. This one and this one. Now I wonder if I have a scrap. Let me see if I still have that scrap piece laying over here. I don't know if there's enough room on that one. Let me see here. Somewhere, I guarantee I have a scrap sheet. So I like to stamp on cardstock because then you can really tell how it's going to look. If you stamp on your grid paper, it's going to show a little bit, but it's not going to be exact because the thickness of the paper is different. So I'm going to turn this over and we're going to test out these 2 stamps. Yes, Joan. Next adventure. That's why I love adventure awaits. I love that phrase. So I was so happy when there was another stamp set that came with that. Now I have a retired stamp set that has some sayings, and I can't remember. It had a globe in it, and I can't remember all the exact sayings, but it was something like life is an adventure or something like that. And I love using those. So if you have sets that are retired that have all those really fun sayings or something about hope and dreams or anything like that. And I think we might even have stamps that say proud of you or something to that, you know, like that. If I can get my words out here this morning. I'm trying to think of some other things that you would say, but you get the idea. You don't have to limit it to general graduation things. You can, or, you know, like, I love doing the year. I think, I'm trying to think of what set I used for my sons, but I just can't remember. I know it was a very simple stamped note card, and I used my Stamparatus, and I just went to town, because like I said, I had quite a few cards to make. So you'll see this texture stamp from the Nature's Harvest is small, so you're going to be stamping it a lot more than this one that's from the Artistically Inked. I love, this is one of my favorites. I love the texture it gives. But this one's fun too. Let me grab some blocks here. So I'm going to take my sailboat stamp off. And put this one on. Okay. So both of these are red rubber. We don't need our stamping mat. And I'm going to, well, you got to grab your colors. Forgot those while I was up. So I've grabbed Crushed Curry and Gorgeous Grape. Now, Gorgeous Grape we're going to use for the words. And like I said, I'm going to stamp off. I don't want this to be really dark. I'm going to try to stamp off. So I just have a scrap sheet down here, something I use to stamp off on. And I'm going to try each one. So I'm just tapping this, and it's very juicy. It's new. And you can see that's a full force. And then if we stamped off, that's what it would look like. And we would layer it to make a fun texture like that. And then we would stamp over top. So there's one. I got my chamois over here to clean my stamps with. I think I have too many things right next to me. I'm running out of space. If you stamp with me, you know exactly what my desks look like. You know exactly what kind of trouble I'm in. That's the fun of it. I like getting messy, and I like getting all my stamps out. Okay, so I'm just tapping this. I pulled that down to me. I'm just tapping this, and I'm going to stamp off with this one too. You gotta be careful not to pick up other colors. And then this one might be, now this is a bigger stamp. Hopefully this one's clean. So this one's fun because it has a different texture. So there's our two textures. What do you think? We're going to put it just right across here toward the middle. Here's the original, so you can see. And I stamped it. Actually, there's a few, a little bit more stamping off. So I did about six or seven lines, but you have 3 that are a little bit darker, and then the rest are kind of in the background. And so these would just layer, and we would twist and turn and layer them. Okay, it looks like everyone's voting for the Artistically Inked. I just love this look. Now this actually looks pretty fun too. So, and here's a little tip. Worst case scenario, you stamp your texture and you hate it, and you flip this piece over and stamp the other one. Just saying. So I like to test out what I'm going to be doing. So let's do this. I need my sheet here to stamp off on. So we're going to do this, and I'll probably actually need this little sheet so I don't get my area all messy. And so I'm going to take this ink pad, and here's another tip. First, let's move this before I get yellow ink on it. When I have a big stamp, I like to take my ink pad to it like this instead of trying to fit this stamp onto my ink pad. So I'm going to ink it. I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp on my page. Can everybody see what I'm doing? Make sure I'm up here. I guess I could have moved the stamp sets. This is how I stamp too. I probably drive my friends nuts when they come stamp with me. Okay, I'm gonna try this. Hopefully I got it all inked. If not, it's a texture and you're just layering. I feel like I need one more. Oh, I did that right. That's all right. I forgot to stamp off. That's okay. It'll be all right. The variation's not too bad. What do you guys think? So that's what happens when you forget what you're doing and you forget to stamp off. And it turns out okay anyway. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. Now, we could also do that texture on the inside, but we haven't fully decided what we want there, so I'm going to close this. I'm going to clean my stamp, and I'm going to bring my Stamparatus in just in case I want just in case the Gorgeous Grape is not dark enough on top of this yellow. I want to be able to ink it and stamp it again. So, oh my goodness. If you guys hear a crash, don't worry. It's just me getting my Stamparatus out. Okay. So let's move this out of the way. Sorry, my stack fell over. Imagine that. So I'm going to slide this right into the corner here. And you can use the magnet to hold it down. And I'm going to grab that "Congrats to the Graduate." Like I said, if you don't have this stamp set, you don't have to use that phrase. You could use, if you have a large greeting that says good luck or congratulations, or, I mean, best wishes, we usually think of wedding, but I usually send well wishes to people who are graduating too, so. And I'm just kind of eyeballing this. The way it's written, I think it's okay if it's not, you're not going to be able to tell if it's not perfectly straight because of the way the script is. And we're going to ink this up in Gorgeous Grape. And you want to push on this and make sure you rub it and get all of that ink to transfer. You can use the palm of your hand, or if you're lucky enough to have one of those Chucky tools, those are great too. So the best part about having the Stamparatus is if I didn't get a good transfer, then I could just close the hinge, the plate again, and press harder and make sure I get it. I can also re-ink this at this point and make this a darker purple. So I'm going to lift it up just a tad so you can see it does not look bad. You can definitely tell what it says, but I'm going to ink it one more time just to make it a little bit darker. And of course, because we stamped on top the yellow, it changes a little bit of how the purple looks. So it's not going to be true to this gorgeous grape, and that's okay. It's going to be a little different. This is also a great way, just like we do generation stamping, when you ink it again and stamp again, it creates this darker color. And the best part is if I take this out and I put it right back in, I can still restamp it because we had it up here into the corner. So there's our layer. Pretty. And I'll clean that in a minute. I use my chamois to clean this, but I'm just going to toss it off to the side for right now. And now we're ready to assemble the front. So very simple. What do you guys think? Who needs cards in this colors besides Joan? And I'm going to go ahead and put my front together. This looks like a disaster waiting to happen. Let's remedy that. I'm going to go ahead and put the front together. And we need to decide on the inside. So, tell me your thoughts. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the love. Thank you, Joan and Linda. And like I said, if you don't have these stamp sets, use what you got, and then feel free to share it with us so that we can see and we can say, oh, you made such an awesome card. I love that idea. Because that's what crafty friends do. We celebrate each other's ideas and our wins when we make a card and it comes out how we wanted or better than we wanted. So there's our front. And I'm just using liquid glue. You could use dimensionals if you wanted to have dimension on it. Completely up to you. I'm not mailing mine, so if you wanted to, you could really pop it up, especially if you're hand delivering. When you mail them and you have dimension upon dimension, it does cost you extra. And I forgot to mention, you can make your own envelopes if you want, or we do have slimline envelopes in the catalog. Now they're basic white, smoky slate, and soft succulent, so they may not be the exact color you need, but I just grabbed out a white one. And even though this is longer, because this is for 8.5, an 8.5 inch card, and I made a mini, you can still use this envelope. Or, like I said, I have a template somewhere on how to make the slimline envelopes. They're very simple, but you could also make your own. So you can use these if you have them. I also have letter envelopes that I bought online that are in cute colors. I think they're called number 9 or number 10. I think number 10 is the normal letter. Number 9 is a little bit smaller. So you could use those as well. Or you can shorten this down into the standard card size so that when it's folded, it's 5.5 by 4.25. And this stamp would still fit on that size card. So if you made this size, you could still stamp your front to look like this. And then just use the medium or greeting card envelope. Whoops, wrong card, Beth. Okay, so do you guys want to do the inside as a sailboat with these colors and adventure awaits? Or would you like to stamp? We could do we could do this mountain. We could do just the outline in the gorgeous grape, like majestic mountains. And you could just, you don't have to repeat the yellow. You could just leave it. What do you guys think? I've got sailboat. I've got mountains. I was trying to look for stamps that you don't have to color, so that it's just like a quick card. So if the person you're giving the card to loves flowers, you could stamp flowers on the inside, matching the school colors or however you want to do it. Joan votes for mountain. I love the mountains. I love, love, love the mountains. I always want to use that stamp set. I'm trying to think what other... I did bring a solid flower over, but... So, anyone else? Anyone else want to chime in? I'm going to put a few things away while we're waiting. Oh, and this stamp set has these gorgeous, like a watercolor looking, alcohol ink technique looking flowers. You could also do this on the inside in the colors that match. So if you don't like the other things that I tend to gravitate to, you could also do that as well. And instead of bringing in a green, you could bring in a gray, a very light gray. You could stamp off so that the leaves are there, but they are in the background. Yes, Joan, I know. I can't wait to come out there and visit someday. That's where my son lives. And my husband has been there, but I have not. So I do have that on my bucket list to make it out there someday. And yes, I know there are gorgeous views of the mountains. So that would be perfect for you. Do you have this stamp set, the Mountaineer? I know we've had it for a little while. And it's one of my favorites. As soon as it came out, I had to have it because, well, it's gorgeous and it has a mountain in there. Now, this is a reversible stamp set. So this stamp right here, it has details on one side. You clean it, you flip it over, and this side is a solid image. They aren't meant to match up. But you could stamp off and make it a very, till it's a pretty light purple, and make the mountain just the two tones of purple. You could do it in the crushed curry, and then do some purple trees if you wanted it in those school colors. It is completely up to you. Obviously, I think the sailboat was pretty easy to manipulate because the sails could be whatever colors you wanted. But we can do, I think purple mountains work. I've done Blackberry Bliss mountains, and so I think we can definitely make the Gorgeous Grape work. So, any thoughts? Anyone want to toss out some thoughts there? This is photopolymer, so I will have to bring in my Stampin' Mat. So, if you don't have the Pierce mat, make sure that goes on your shopping list. Or you can, if you have the Stamparatus, you can grab the mat that goes with your Stamparatus. Okay. So we've got the choice of a purple mountain, or we can do crushed curry. So in this one, I did the boat in, I stamped off from basic gray so that it kind of blended into the background because I wanted these to be my focal colors. This is stamped off Tahitian Tide, and then my Adventure Awaits, and I would use this phrase right along with the mountain stamp too. Adventure Awaits is in the Night of Navy. So if we're kind of looking at the same ideas, we could stamp the mountain in one of these two colors, and then Adventure Awaits would be in the Gorgeous Grape. Linda votes Purple Mountain stamped off. The detail, Linda? So we could make it very light. It can be faint so that you can write over top of it. That's one of my favorite things to do is you can stamp off so that then your solid image or your details that you're putting in there are very light so that you can write over top of it. Okay, so now with this stamp set, I will warn you because I bought it and I didn't pay any attention. You know, in the catalog, it does tell you suggested blocks. Well, sometimes I get ahead of myself and I don't pay attention. So you want to make sure that you have this eye block because it is long enough for the mountains. And really, if you have the Set Sail set, you'll also need this block because that water set is very long. See, that's a very long stamp. And I love it because our standard size for the 5.5 by 4 1/4, it stretches across the whole card. Thank you, Jenny. See you later. Have a great day. So, you'll want to make sure you have this eye block. So let's do the mountain detail. And you can see how well loved my stamp set is because, well, it's nice and pink and it sticks to the wrong things. The sailboat would work. Now you could actually do a mountain in the background stamped off and then the sailboat on this as well. You can combine the two sets. So I'm just going to pick this up, make sure I have the detailed side. You can kind of run your finger over it and tell which side has the detail and which side is smooth because you can stamp with both sides. Okay, so let's use the Gorgeous Scrape. I'm going to bring in that yucky paper that I had. So that I can stamp off. And just be careful when you're stamping off. I was saying this yesterday, when you have a dark color, because I use my grid paper over and over and over again, and really until it's just so yucky that I have to throw it away. If you stamp a light color where this Night of Navy is, you may pick up a little bit of the Night of Navy. I mean, this is thin paper. There's nowhere for the ink to go. Once it gets wet, it can reactivate a little bit. So I'm just going to warn you of that in case you do what I do. And then sometimes I do that and my yellow has pink in it or my light blue has the wrong color mixed in. So again, I'm taking that ink pad and I turned it over and I'm just tapping on that detailed stamp. It looks gorgeous before I've even stamped it. I love it before I've even stamped it. I'm going to pull this in and I'm going to stamp off. So that's what it would look like full force. And then I'm going to stamp down here. That's second generation. And then I'm going to pick a different spot here. That's third generation. So I'm going to stamp off, and then this is the one that I'm going to use on my card. So it's very, very, very light. What do you guys think? So we got first generation, second, or third. I'm thinking third just so that we can write over top of it and it's not going to be overpowering. Let me know what you guys think. So here's our sheet. And I'm going to stamp it right in the middle. And then if we want, we can add in trees. We could add in, full forest purple trees. I know these aren't exact to nature, and that's okay. We're just making a fun color-themed card for our graduate. Okay, everyone says third, so we're going to do this again. So I'm going to take my ink pad and ink up this gorgeous mountain set. And I'm going to stamp off, stamp off, And then I'm bringing my piece in. I see a few dark pieces on there. Just going to use my finger to try to make sure, hopefully, that my fingerprint's not in there. If it is, we're going to turn it over. It's okay if it doesn't get to be perfect the first time. That's why we have, I always say that's why we have two sides to our cardstock. So there's our third generation. And we could fill it in. Now I could have stamped it down. Maybe I should, do you guys think I should stamp it down further? But I'm also thinking, I stamped it in the middle because if I am taping that gift card in, I can tape it towards the bottom. What do you guys think? Should I restamp it down further? Should we fill it in? You just like the outline? This is the creative process. This is exactly what I do when I'm stamping. I probably talk to myself as well. And then we could stamp Adventure Awaits is from this set sale set. Joan says it's perfect. Thank you. The placement really depends on a lot of things, like how much you want to put in there. If you wanted to stamp a whole bunch of other things, you might want to rearrange where it is. But I just want to stamp Adventure Awaits. If you have one of those retired, I know we had a couple of adventure sayings in some retired sets. I can't remember exactly which ones, but I've used them lots of times for cards for my sons. And we're going to stamp this. Now, I guess we didn't put any yellow on the inside. So what do you guys think? So our boat had all the colors, and it's okay if you don't use all the colors on the inside and the outside. Do you think we should stamp in the Gorgeous Grape for Adventure Awaits, or should we use Crushed Curry? It would definitely be a bright or a dark yellow. Now, the other set that I don't have, well, I have over here, but I'm doing my videos for my class, is we have that Paradise Palms stamp set. And I also love the beach. So this would make a really cute grad card too. And like Jenny and I were talking yesterday when we were doing cards, a lot of kids from our state go to the beach as their senior trip. So this set could be appropriate for that as well. And this actually has a sun, like a watercolored sun in it. So if you wanted to add in, because this has yellow, we could stamp a little sun in here if we wanted to add the yellow in that way. Now this set does have this, but it's more of a moon, the detailed, or we could stamp this, which is just a circle. We could use that for the sun, but this one has a little variation, like it's watercolored. So mix and match, use what you got and what you love. I certainly do. I'm not gonna lie, I probably have 20 stamp sets sitting next to me right now because I had no idea what I wanted to do. And that's how I create. I get everything out. I get it all down. I play with it, mix and match, and have fun. There's no wrong way. Now this one's pretty big, so we could stamp the solid. And then this one, if you want to borrow from another set, it's tiny. What do y'all think? And we're going to be finishing this up. We're going to glue it on the inside, and we've got our grad card all done. Linda votes Crushed Curry for the words. Anyone else have a vote? So if you loved this video today, don't forget to give me some love, lots of hearts, and please share my video with your crafty friends or invite them to come on over and hang out with us and learn too. I mean, I love adding crafty friends to my circle. I feel like I've gotten to know quite a few people online, and it makes it so much more fun for me to craft with all of you. So Linda votes the smaller one. Now we don't have to add in a sun, but we can if you want to bring in some more color. Joan says either. So if you get this stamp set, it does have that bigger set. It's meant to be a moon, but if you flip it over and you stamp this in yellow, it's the sun, right? Nobody's going to tell you it isn't. So I'm not anyway. Now I would use a smaller block. I do recommend using blocks that fit the size of your stamps. So like this little block is block A. It would probably work a lot better for this one because when you go to ink up your stamp, you're less likely to rock it and get that halo effect. So do you still want the Adventure Awaits in the crushed curry? Let's do this, and I'm going to stamp off, so I don't actually need that. I'm going to just push it up. I'm going to tap, 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 and ink this up, and I want to make sure I didn't rock it and get anything around here. I'm going to grab that scrap sheet. I'll use this side where I already put the yellow. I'm going to stamp off twice, because we stamped off twice for the purple, and I'm just going to put it right here. So it's just really faint right there with our mountains. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is stamp our words and glue that inside. So what do you think? I'm going to put Adventure Awaits. What do you think? Down here? Down here in the corner. Do you want Gorgeous Grape or Crushed Curry? And really, if you wanted to mass produce this card, you could set it up on your Stamparatus and make several. Like I said, my friend is a teacher, and she often wants sets of cards in these colors for the kids at her school. So I like to make sets, and I set it up on my Stamparatus so that I make them all the same. And I have an old stamp set that has the saying, "You are capable of amazing things" in it. And I love that saying. It was a bird, some kind of bird set that we had. And I love that saying. So I use that all the time on cards for high schoolers because I think they do need to know that they are capable of amazing things. I would too, Joan. Honestly, neither color is wrong. And even if you stamped in gray, it wouldn't be wrong either. I often bring in a neutral, but we've kind of kept this all to 2 colors besides the cardstocks. So it really depends on how bold you want it. Where's my test paper? What did I do with that test paper? Lord knows where it fell. I threw it somewhere. Come out wherever you went. It probably went overboard. There it is. It did go overboard. So bring in your test paper. And I'm going to stamp with the yellow first because it's the lighter color technically. That's what it looks like. I'm going to use my chamois and clean my stamp real quick. And then we'll stamp in Gorgeous Grape. If you don't know, it's okay. If you stamp it and you hate it, turn it over and stamp it again. Or cut a label and make it have a little layer. No worries. There's always a way, just about always. I don't want to say always, but there's usually a way to fix it. So here's the Full Force Gorgeous Grape. So Crushed Curry or Gorgeous Grape. And like I said, either one is not wrong. They both work. They both work with this. I'm just cleaning my stamp so that if we use yellow, I don't have any purple in there because I certainly don't want that to happen. And I just keep my chamois. This is one cut in half. I keep them in a stamp case that we used to have these little half cases. But I keep mine in a stamp case. These come in a set of 4. I use them for paper, embellishments, and my chamois in here. Because when this is wet, the last thing I want is for it to touch my project. So you can see mine's well loved. And I have some that I cut in half so I can hold them easier when I'm cleaning my Stamparatus. Or the stamps on my Stamparatus. Okay. I think I'm just going to use Gorgeous Grape. Hope everyone's okay with that. I do love the crushed curry. I don't use yellow. Hardly ever. I don't know why. It's just not a color I grab. But it is a gorgeous color. So I'm just tapping this on my ink pad and making sure I get it nice and inked up. And remember, when you have photopolymer, you're going to want your Pierce mat or the mat from your Stamparatus in there. And I'm not standing, so I'm just going to throw this in there. Adventure awaits. Like I said, some adventures in the adult world are wonderful, and the ones like paying bills are awful. I'd love to go back to not having to do that. Okay, just make sure you close your ink pads. Take that away. There we go. So like I said, you can create a pocket if you really want a pocket, or you can just use that stuff that's on the back of the gift card that you normally peel off. Just use it to re-stick it to your card. I discovered that when I did my teacher's gifts, and I thought, why have I not thought of that before? Because it's right there. So it's like recycling the glue on the back. Now this layer is a little bit bigger than your front layer. I have glue on my hands, and I did not get that very straight. There we go. So this inside piece is 6 1/4 by 3 1/4. Now if you wanted to mat it like we did on the front, you would just make it the same size as this one, 6 by 3. So there we have it. What do you think? I hope you love it. There's our original. So you can use whatever set you have. You can use flowers. I've used the lighthouse. We had a lighthouse stamp that just retired, and we had one before that, and now we have a new lighthouse stamp. So lots and lots of ideas. Thank you, Linda, and thank you, Joan. So let me know if there's something different that you use for graduation cards, because I'm always trying to kind of expand how I'm using my stamps. Definitely want our stamps to go the extra mile. And I'm also just curious if I'm just missing something. So let me know those ideas. If you want to share your cards that you've made for graduation, feel free to share them on the video or share them over on the Are You Making Graduation Cards post on the page. We would love to give you some love on those creations. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products, I'd be happy to be your demonstrator. You can go to bethroy.stampinup.net and click on Shop Now and browse products that you might like to use for any upcoming projects, cards. We're going to do some fun stuff towards the end of this month, like a sampler. That's a framed piece that you can hang on your wall. I have lots behind me. We used to do those once a month, and I haven't done one for a while. So I can't wait to do some of that too. So everyone have a beautiful weekend. We're going to go outside and enjoy the weather while it lasts, the beautiful sunshine. And if you share my video, please let me know. Comment shared. Facebook does not allow me to always see who shared my video, and I like to be able to thank you for supporting me in that way. So if you have questions, I'm here. You can message me. I'm happy to help. with ideas or color combos or whatever you need. So take care, everyone, and have fun stamping today. See you soon.